Good morning, Moonhaven Falls. This is Audric Cashmere. Our morning notes will be brief today because we all have much to prepare for, though I will do my best to keep the rest of our regular programming. The optimism of the last week has curdled. Lord Kendrick's scouts and engineers have returned from the plateau with a terrifying report. Those landslides? They are not holding. The weight of a week's worth of those two merging rivers is now pressing against a wall of loose scree and a very tired and, once again, sleeping Zaratan. Unfortunately, the dams are showing signs of imminent, catastrophic collapse. When they go, and the if has definitely become a when, the entirety of that massive new lake will wash across the plateau and right over our heads, probably all at once. We are talking about a wall of water that would dwarf the falls themselves. Now, Lord Kendrick has called an emergency council as of 2 days ago. Alara, Meadowlight, and Gary have locked themselves in the Castle Arcanum in an attempt to devise a solution. We are being told to prepare for total saturation. I don't know what that means, but Alara Vancroft is currently directing the guard to move all essential supplies to the main levels of the buildings, and has strongly suggested that anyone with a weak constitution may want to evacuate in the next day and a half. Stay tuned, Moonhaven, and stay ready. This is Audric Cashmere with the Crystal Network.
Greetings, Seekers of Destiny, and welcome once more to the Arcane Whispers of Alara, Meadowlight. 8 days have been joined to the loom of the ages since the silver mists stopped coiling around the base of the Moonhaven Falls, a sign of the shifting veils between what is and what is yet to be. 30 weeks now stand between us and the Phoenix's initial fiery light, a journey of introspection and quiet preparation. Today, however, the very air in my sanctum seems to have grown brittle, and the scrying pool has offered an image of startling clarity. The shattered looking-glass. I have seen a local glassblower working his forge here in the shadow of the Dragonspine Mountains, turning out a flawless mirror, cooled perfectly over 3 days, before it spontaneously fractured into 1,000 jagged stars the moment he looked upon his reflection. This is no mere accident of the craft. This is a celestial herald. The fracture, a period of sudden, sharp disruption, where the images we hold of ourselves and our world will be broken by the weight of hidden truth. This is a difficult omen. Yes. But remember, only a broken vessel can be forged into something more resilient. A special note on the shattered looking-glass. This omen speaks of an immediate, perhaps jarring, confrontation with reality. It signifies a cracking of the masks that we wear and the comforts that we cling to. Expect plans to stall, certainties to waver. However, the light that shines through a crack is often the purest. You are being asked to shed the fragile glass of your expectations to reveal the unbreakable diamond of your true spirit beneath. You will emerge from this tempest not just intact, but unyielding. For those of you born under the sign of the Whispering Willow, that is, mid-spring to early summer, the fracture strikes at your branches, testing which are hollow and which are whole. You may feel a sudden chill in your social circles, or a project that you have nurtured may encounter a sharp and unexpected setback. Do not mourn for your fallen leaves. The storm is merely pruning that which no longer serves your heights to come. The falls currently sound like the drip of a faucet, harsh, yet purposeful. A smooth riverstone or a curious rock formation could represent the solid core that remains when debris is washed away in your life. For those born under the sign of the soaring griffin, that is, late summer to early autumn. For you, the shattered looking-glass warns of clouding of vision. A choice you had thought was clear will suddenly become multifaceted and confusing. Your leadership may be questioned, or a path that you have flown 1,000 times will suddenly feel foreign. Do not force your path. Stop and observe the shards of the familiar. Find the new perspective that is hidden within those refractions. The trickle of the falls now sounds dissonant, advising you to listen for the harmony within the noise. A piece of lead or heavy iron found in an unexpected location could well be your call to ground your spirit while the winds of change howl about you. For those of you born under the sign of the deepening mire, that is, mid-autumn to early winter, the fracture reaches deep into the silt of your personal life, stirring up that which you had thought was long buried. An old debt, a forgotten secret, a repressed fear may suddenly break the surface, demanding your attention. While this unearthing feels like a violation of your peace, it is actually a liberation. You cannot build a fortress on shifting mud. The falls today trickle with a murmur like 1,000 tiny voices, and stay silent until you can hear your own heart beating amongst them. A handful of dried moss or peat, or an arrangement of dried flowers, could well be a sign, reminding you that life persists even in the dark and pressurized depths. For those of you born under the sign of the frozen hearth, that is, late winter to early spring, as the looking glass shatters your personal ice, it reveals a warmth that you have been seeking, which is already within you. You may face a moment where your external support, a mentor, a tool, a guide, routine, a family member, suddenly fails you. This is the universe's way of forcing you to strike out your own spark. The cold will bite, but it will also temper you. The fall's quiet murmur is a rhythmic pulse, speaking to you of a heart that beats faster in the face of a challenge. A shard of obsidian or flint that you hadn't recognized could reveal to you your own inner core, the firestone that only reveals its spark when struck with force. Please remember that these are but whispers from the cosmic currents, glimpses of that which may be. The shards of today are, after all, the mosaics of tomorrow. The choices that you make in the moment of fracture define the beauty of the greater whole. May the light of the moon guide your path, and may you find yourself standing taller when the dust finally settles. This has been Alara Meadowlight with your Omen Outcast.
Good afternoon to the fine citizens of Moonhaven Falls, and a curious good day to the adventurers currently polishing their greaves in the town square. I see you've been quite industrious today. Truly heartening to see such a dedication to the external shine when the internal... Well, we'll work on the internal together, shall we? This is, of course, Ignis, the scaled sophisticant. I have spent the morning observing the way that you navigate the world. There is a certain rugged simplicity to the way a man tries to solve a locked door by shouting at it. It is almost poetic in its futility. However, since I prefer my neighbors to be as sharp as the peaks they live under, I have curated another series of mental evaluations for your consideration. Treat these not as a test, but as a mirror. And if you find the reflection a bit blurry, well, perhaps it's time to wipe the dust from the glass, before I forget, here are the answers to last week's questions. Candle or fire, keyboard or piano, a reflection, a river, an echo, a book, and the future. That said, here's the first of this week's 7 curiosities. I have teeth, but I never bite. Traveled through varied forests of gold and through midnight, leaving everything straighter than I found it. What am I? Do deliver your conclusions to Timmy at the station. He is the one with the look of perpetual bewilderment. Do try to be gentle with him. I suspect the sheer volume of creative guesses last week has left him a bit bewildered. Be well, Moonhaven Falls, and may your thoughts be as clear as the tears, and your ambitions slightly more sophisticated than a sharpened stick. Greetings, Moonhaven. I am Farouk Vitae, Elara Meadowlight's most senior apprentice. Most mages spend their lives squinting into the great beyond, trying to predict the fall of empires or the birth of the chosen one. But honestly, that sounds exhausting. Here at Crystal Clear Consulting, I believe magic should be practical. You don't need a prophecy to know the Shadowfen ruins are a bad idea for your family reunion. I can tell you right now, the answer is yes, unless you like leeches. Are you wondering if that mystery meat at the tavern is actually mutton? Want to know if it's going to rain specifically on your laundry day? Stop by the Falls District. Whether it's tea leaves, star charts, or just a very well-informed hunch, I will help you navigate the small stuff so you can stop worrying about the big stuff. Walk-ins are welcome, although if you are a Capricorn, please knock twice. The vibrations are better. I do not provide lottery numbers, love potions, or vague warnings about tall dark strangers. If I see a tall dark stranger, I'll give you his name and address. It's much more efficient. Crystal Clear Consulting, because the future is coming, whether you're ready or not. So you may as well carry an umbrella.
Good afternoon to you, my weary travelers. An unrepentant grin to the tavern keepers. A jaunty salute to the adventurers, the sellswords, and as ever, my fellow citizens from all walks of life here in the Lost Realms. Welcome back to Crossroads Chronicles. I am your host, Audric Cashmere. Now, we've all seen the growth across the plateau lately. New storefronts, more travelers, and of course, the ever-pressing need for a place to hang your cloak at the end of the day. But why settle for 4 stone walls when you could live in something that breathes? Now, joining me today is an expert in what many are beginning to call recursive architecture. Straight from the verdant outskirts, please welcome the lead engineer of Verdant Foundation's Moss Under Stone.
Thank you, Audric. It is a pleasure to be here, though I must say your studio's a bit dehydrated.
Well, I'll tell the interns to miss the curtains. Now, Moss, you're a Goran, correct? For those of you who haven't traveled much past the Dragon Spine, your people are literally born from the earth, plant folk. Does that perspective change how you look at a blueprint?
It changes everything. Now, most civilized builders see a house as a place to keep nature out of. They fight the rain. They curse the roots. They bake clay until it's dead. We at Verdant Foundations, we believe that a home should be an extension of the local ecosystem. I don't build a kitchen. I encourage a localized climate where your herbs can grow in the backsplash and the walls naturally filter out the morning humidity.
Now that sounds lovely, but I do need to ask the practical question. We live in a world of owl bears and the occasional stray fireball. How exactly does a living home stand up to the rigors of a landscape such as ours?
That is the actual beauty of the artificial nature balance, Audric. You see, we use what we call the petrified heart method. We frame your home with traditional, sturdy masonry. Good, honest granite, reinforced oak. That, however, is only the artificial skeleton. Because you see, after that, we graft iron vine or deep-root willow into the very structure of the home itself. If a tremor hits the town, a stone wall cracks. But a verdant home, the vines have a tensile strength. They flex. They hold the stone together like the muscle system in your body. If a stray spell singes the exterior, the house doesn't just sit there scarred. it heals. You water the scorched patch, and in a week, your siding has regrown itself.
So, less fixer-upper, more patient?
Basically, yes. It does require a bit of a shift in mindset, I'll admit. You don't just buy a broom. You buy a symbiotic relationship.
All right. Well, let's talk aesthetic. People in Moonhaven Falls are very proud of their views. The falls, the plateaus, the peaks. How do you integrate a structure so it doesn't just look like a giant bush in the middle of a cobblestone street?
We call that the transition threshold. For example, we had a recent project out near the Serpent's Tooth where we designed a manor that utilized sun chaser glass. Have you heard of it? If you haven't, you should really look into it. It's a sandblasted quartz that reacts to the light. During the day, it provides shade for the interior moss carpeting. At night, it releases that stored energy at about the same intensity as moonlight. We blend the artificial lines of the roof with what we call weeping eaves. From a distance, the house looks just like a natural hill, but up close, it has all the amenities that a modern wizard or merchant would expect. Running water via gravity-fed system, natural geothermal heating from deep earth taps.
I would imagine Lord Kendrick might have some thoughts on building codes. Is it difficult to get these living structures permitted?
No, the bureaucracy is often more rigid than the stone that they love so much, but once I show the inspectors how a living roof provides better insulation than 3 feet of thatch, and that it's virtually fireproof because the leaves are constantly hydrating themselves, they usually come around very quickly.
All right, well, we're nearly out of time here, Moss, but for the listeners who are sitting in their drafty, traditional stone cottages tonight, what's one piece of advice for balancing the natural and the artificial in their own space?
Stop fighting the outdoors. If a vine is growing toward your window, don't just cut it off. Train it. Carve a groove in the sill. Let it in. The moment you stop treating your home like it's a fortress to fight off nature and start treating it more like a garden that you are a part of, the better off you'll be, and you'll find you sleep much, much deeper.
Wise words from a guest who truly knows the ground they stand on. Moss Understone, thank you very much for joining us here on Crossroads Chronicles.
May your roots always find whatever water you need.
And may yours find plenty of sun. Stay tuned, folks. You are currently listening to Crossroads Chronicles here on the Lost Realms Crystal Network.
Welcome back to the Shimmering Fringes of Reality. I am Selene Meadowlight. My mother Alara asked if I'd come and cover the Magic Minute, so if you're hearing my voice, it means you've successfully tuned your crystal to the correct frequency. Or perhaps the frequency has simply chosen you today. Regardless, though, let's peer into the Magic Minute. In recent esoteric item lore, a rather peculiar relic has been recovered from a collapsed cellar near the Dragonspine foothills. It seems to be a simple wooden spoon, yet it possesses a permanent enchantment of unstoppable agitation. Once placed in a pot, it will stir until the heat of friction eventually ignites your stew. A cautionary tale for all aspiring artificers. Just because you can automate your kitchen chores doesn't mean you should leave a level 5 kinetic loop unattended while you go take a nap. The local fire brigade is still trying to extinguish a very agitated bowl of porridge. There is also a theory gaining traction among the younger mages in the academy that the Moonhaven Falls actually leaks magic into the air during a lunar eclipse. They claim that if you stand directly under the spray of the falls while the moon is obscured, your spells come out kind of sideways. I don't know. I've looked into the silver threads of the future, and while I didn't see any sideways magic, I did see a lot of very damp wizards catching a very mundane cold. Do use your umbrella, my dear students. The weave is very rarely found in a puddle. And now, of course, a reminder of the inflexible threads. Audric tells Mother and I that these rules are tedious, but again, Audric has never tried to cast Hold Person on a creature that doesn't exist on our physical plane. So first up, the law of concentration. I have seen many of you attempting to shroud yourselves in invisibility while also maintaining a wall of fire. But that's just a mental impossibility. You have but one mind. It can only hold focus on a single sustained spell at a time. If you attempt a second, the first will shatter like glass. Don't blame the gods for your own lack of focus. Instead, choose your miracles wisely. Second, a note on visibility. Many of you believe that being invisible makes you undetectable, but that is a very dangerous falsehood. Unless you take an active effort to hide, your heavy boots, your clanking potion vials, and your heavy breathing are all perfectly audible. You're not a ghost, just a very loud, very translucent nuisance. Lastly, critical hits. They do not apply to your spells unless they involve an attack roll. If you force a creature to make a saving throw, say for example against Sacred Flame, there is no such thing as a critical success. Either they dodge the light, or they do not. There is no extra credit in the eyes of the weave. Remember, knowledge is the only shield that never cracks, so take care of yourselves, Moonhaven Falls, and stay tuned! This has been Selene Meadowlight with your Magic Minute.
Good afternoon. This is Lord Justicar Thomas Destros with a proclamation from the High Plateau. By order of Lord Parnasius Kendrick, Sovereign of the Falls and all surrounding lands and territories, be it known to all citizens, vassals, and travelers currently residing within the greater jurisdiction of Moonhaven Falls and its surrounding cities. Recent reports from the Royal Engineers have confirmed that the natural formation containing the lake caused by the recent titanic struggle is showing signs of imminent structural failure. While the situation is being monitored closely, the integrity of the dam can no longer be guaranteed. In accordance with recommendations put forth by Commander Ilara Vancroft, and after consultation with his own high counselors and commanders, the following mandates are now in effect. All citizens of weak constitution, including all of the elderly, the infirm, and all families with young children, are hereby ordered to vacate the lowlands immediately. You have a window of approximately 36 hours to relocate to higher ground. This includes the towns of Moonhaven Falls, Smithfield, and Meadow Vale. Oakhaven is warned that they may see localized flooding, but is not expected to be impacted by the initial surge. All residents not remaining to assist in the town's defense are directed to move to the designated safety zones in the Dragonspine Mountains or similar areas. Please proceed with haste, but maintain civil order. Panic serves only the river. Be advised that a joint effort between Ilara Meadowlight and the local entity known only as Gary is currently being finalized. This plan involves a large-scale application of untested magic intended to divert or stabilize the coming surge. Only those capable of assisting in arcane stabilization or the physical reinforcement of the banks are permitted to stay past the sunset of the coming day. All others are ordered to clear the flood path and ensure the mages have the necessary focus and space to operate. We do not issue these orders lightly. However, the safety of the populace remains the primary concern of his lordship. Take only that which is essential. Look to your neighbors and move upward. Signed, His Lord Majesty, Parnasius Kendrick, Lord of the Plateau, Protector of the Falls, High Sovereign of the Realm. I greatly appreciate you giving Moonhaven a chance, ladies and gentlemen. If you wish to give your answer to Ignis's daily challenge, I will be posting them to Facebook and Patreon. There should be a link to both pages in the description. If you would like to engage with a specific character, or just the channel in general, do please pop in, say hello, let me know what your favorite segment is. This does, however, conclude our episode for the week. We release a new episode every Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern, and I hope you found this podcast to be thought-provoking, surprising, and genuinely creative. If you did, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel or even follow the podcast. Maybe even take a moment to rate it and share it with a friend or a community. It's a simple, easy action. It lets the algorithm know that you listen to and want to continue hearing these stories. Do please keep in mind that I personally write, record, and edit all of the content for this show, with the occasional guest appearance from my wife and children. If you would like to buy me a cup of coffee, or Timmy a cup of cocoa per month, as encouragement to continue creating it, we gratefully accept. Thank you to all of our supporters, and especially the increasing number of you who've reached out to tell me what your favorite segment is. My family and I genuinely appreciate all of you for showing your support by tuning in every week, and we would like to thank you for continuing to do so. I look forward to seeing you in the comments, and I hope you tune in again next week.